Hello, 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 good to see you again. I hope you're doing extremely well. Welcome back to this new video of the series How About Living In? Before exploring a new place in the French Riviera, just a couple of news. Not too long ago, we attended our Overseas Home virtual event, a wonderful event designed to help overseas buyers connect with trusted experts across Europe and the USA. As French Riviera's real estate specialist, we have talked about property prices, the appeal of the region for different budgets and markets, and about locations highlights. We've been delighted to see that so many people are interested in the French Riviera and considering moving to the region. We answered their questions such as, what is the cost of living here? What is a suitable budget for a 2-bedroom apartment and a 3 to 4 bedroom villa? Which part of the region has more affordable properties? What do you enjoy doing in the French Riviera when you're not working? These may be the same questions you're asking yourself, and hope to provide some answers in my videos. Another new feature of which I'm particularly proud, FRH is now the sponsor of the American football team, Les Aigles Rouges. They play in Nice. We are particularly delighted to support this team and to contribute to the development of American football in our country. And finally, some of you have probably checked it out already, but we have a new website since a couple of weeks. We wanted a more complete website showing all of our services, providing you with some information about us, but also about the French Riviera and its real estate market. Let me know if you like it in the comments below the video. That's all for FRH News today. Thanks for listening. Today, we're back in the capital of the Côte d'Azur to tell you about one of Nice's most popular districts, Le Port, bordered to the north by Boulevard Delfino, to the east by the Mont Boron Hill, to the west by La Colline du Château, the Castle Hill and Boulevard Riceau, and to the south by the Mediterranean. This multifaceted district is a real favorite to Nice residents and new arrivals alike. And you're about to see why. Ready? Let's go! Here we are in the port of Nice, whose development over the centuries has given rise to the district that bears its name. The history of this port is fascinating and complex, so let's bring it down to the following main points. In 1749, the King of Sardinia, Charles Emmanuel III, chose the small Lympia beach as a site for the port of Nice. This marshy area with surrounding cultivated fields owes its name to the Lympia stream. As soon as it opened in 1752, the port took the name of the site. In this way, the Duchy of Savoy had finally a port from which to trade with other kingdoms. Until then, Nice had only a small marina at Les Ponchettes. A lot of digging had to be done to create an artificial basin, quays, an arsenal, and warehouses. Major works were carried out in 1775 to enable the port to accommodate large merchant ships, including the creation of 2 breakwaters closing of the entrance to the basins. Between 1860 and 1908, development work was carried out on the current basin, leading to the creation of the Quai des Deux Emmanuels and the Quai Papacino, which led to the destruction of the birthplace of Garibaldi, the hero of the two worlds and a proud citizen of Nice. In 1907, the port was linked by tram to the Gare du Sud, located in the Libération district, which I'll talk about in a future video. The port underwent further expansion, but in August 1944 it was bombed first by the Germans and then by the Allies, but it was quickly rebuilt. In the 70s, a freight station was created, but the authorities realized that there wasn't enough space to match their ambitions, so they decided to create a commercial port at Nice Airport, while extending the airport too. Gigantic works were then undertaken, the biggest construction site in Europe at the time, including the destruction of a hill. But on October 16, 1979, the foundations collapsed, creating a 3-meter tsunami that swept the site away. The project was then abandoned. The Galerie Lympia, which today is a cultural space and hosts great exhibitions, was originally a penal establishment reserved for convicts. In fact, the House of Savoy decided to build a penal colony to house a workforce close to the digging of the port. The establishment was subsequently used as a military prison, and after Nice was annexed to France in 1860, It was used as a prison for convicts serving short sentences, with an annex for women housed in the upper floors of the Pavillon de l'Horloge until 1887. Today, the port is a place to stroll and meet people, a place that will become even more beautiful thanks to the project to develop the port with an extension of the Promenade des Anglais onto the Quai Infernais, where the car park will be transformed into a green space with shops and restaurants. The harbour breakwater will be reinforced to create a large pedestrian promenade, as well as a positive energy breakwater harnessing the power of the waves to power the new facilities. The Quai Lunel and the Place Île-de-Beauté will also be redeveloped, in particular through the creation of planted pedestrian areas. In short, now is the right time to buy here, as property prices, which are already rather high, are sure to rise after all this improvement. For example, this magnificent 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom and 3-balcony apartment of 86 square meters, located Quai Papacino, sold by Daniel Feo-Christis at 1,149,000 euros, or around 13,300 euros per square meter. And this beautiful complex of 2 apartments for a total of 181 square meters, located directly on the port, sold by Century 21 Lafarge, and priced at 2,950,000 euros, or around 60,300 euros per square meter. For this one, located 2 steps from the port, in the charming Antoine Gautier Street, among the antique shops. This cozy apartment of 30 square meters, in a typical Niçois building, is sold by Keller Williams at 288,000 euros, or 9,600 euros per square meter. But nearby, you can find a typical apartments like this 2-bedroom one, with its unique loft style and convertible terrace, located close to Place du Pin, one of the most fashionable areas in Nice, sold by Agence Castel at 399,000 euros, or only approximately 5,300 euros per square meter. Even if the city is modernizing, traditions are respected here, and the pointu boats behind me are the best proof. The pointu were the traditional local fisherman boat. Nowadays, only a few fishermen still use them. Most have been recycled as leisure boats, but at least they have survived extinction. If you wake up early enough, you might see a couple of them still in action, fishing in the Angels Bay, La Baie des Anges. A moment you will want to snap. You can then buy the fish directly from the boat in the port. By the way, did you know that in the summer you can cross the harbour free of charge aboard one of these typical boats? Le passagin. Actually, we're going to be on board just after. The port is also the departure point for one of the Nice's most exclusive districts, and incidentally for my favorite beach, but shh, it's a secret. Shall we get going? Okay, we're off. This is my secret beach. Well, actually, it's not anymore. Even 10 years ago, you could enjoy the sun and sea on this beach in August without being in the middle of the crowd. But because of all the people making videos about the Côte d'Azur, it's now referenced in guidebooks. It remains a magical place for snorkeling. This is also where the ancient customs path begins that almost reaches Villefranche. I'll be showing it to you in a future video. It's a real beauty. In fact, the first inhabitants of Nice must have agreed with me. It was just a few steps from here, on the prehistoric site of Terra Amata, that the first inhabitants of Nice settled 400,000 years ago. This site can be visited, admission is free, and the tour is incredibly evocative. This area is already exclusive, but if you go a little higher, I will take you to an even more exclusive place, Mont Boron. But you'll have to earn it. There is a great hike waiting for us. Let's go! Mont Boron Park is located on a hill to the east of the town, on the border with Villefranche-sur-Mer. At the top of the hill, behind me, stands the Mont Boron Fort, a military fortification built between 1557 and 1560. This building was one of the major defense points of the county of Nice, along with the Castle Hill and the citadel of Villefranche. Its position allowed it to dominate the bay of Nice and the harbour of Villefranche-sur-Mer. Needless to say, Mont Boron is a very select spot. In fact, Sir Elton John, who has been an honorary citizen of Nice since 1997, lives just a few meters away. It's in his sumptuous residence, bought in the 90s for 15 million euros, that he entertains friends such as Victoria and David Beckham and Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle. But Mont Boron isn't just for VIPs. It's also a dream spot for sports enthusiasts or for picnics with family and friends. Let's just say that everybody feels like a VIP here. That's the real luxury, these breathtaking views, some of the finest in the world. From here, you can take in the whole of the harbour of Villefranche-sur-Mer and the peninsula of Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. Property prices on Mont Boron, as you can imagine, are rather high. An average of 8,400 euros per square meters, with prices ranging from 6,000 to 12,000 euros per square meters or more. For example, this two-bedroom apartment, or 84 square meters, plus a nice garden sold by Ashley & Parker for 640,000 euros or around 7,600 euros per square meter. Or this one-bedroom renovated apartment in a gated community with swimming pool, garden and sea view sold by Century 21 Lafarge at 890,000 euros or around 14,000 euros per square meter. Or also this 4-bedroom and 3-bathroom elegant and classic villa of 196 square meters plus land of 550 square meters with sea view sold by Century 21 Lafarge again at 3,490,000 euros or around 70,800 euros per square meter. Or this more modern villa, fully renovated with an astonishing 360 degrees view over Nice, the Castle Hill and the bay, offering 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, swimming pool, of 144 square meters, sold by Savills at 2,270,000 euros or 15,700 euros per square meters. But the Port District is not just about exclusive locations and VIP villas. It's also a lively area where people work, meet and go out. On the emblematic square where I'm standing, dedicated to Giuseppe Garibaldi, there are restaurants, bars and a cinema and a theatre. Place Garibaldi is on the edge of the Vieux-Nice, the old town. Part of the square is built on the old fortifications of the town. Following the introduction of Line 1 of the tramway, the square became almost entirely pedestrian. Only 2 roads remain, one linking the port to Boulevard Félix Faure and the other running from the Promenade des Anglais to the port. The opening of the tramway has also helped to beautify the whole area. As a result, Rue Catherine Segurane, at the foot of the eastern slope of the Château Hill, with its flea antiques market, has been enhanced. Rue Bonaparte, with its Place du Pain, has become the place to be for Nice Movida, and République, which has become completely pedestrian, is now around the port. As a result, the port area was an industrial district home to people working for the port and the many factories and storage facilities. For example, there used to be a tobacco factory on this square, and Rue Arson and Rue Auguste Gagne are north-south routes used to bring the goods from the Payonne Valley. Located at the southeast of the city, the district has excellent public transport links. 2 tramway lines, train station and numerous bus routes, and is home to numerous primary and secondary schools, vocational colleges and Ezra, the school for audiovisual, sound and animation professions. The nearest public hospital is Hôpital Pasteur, which can also be reached by tram. Shops of all kinds are just about everywhere, and there is also a shopping mall, the TNL. Now let's talk about real estate. Which budget to settle in Nice Port District? Well, as you can imagine, given the diversity between different areas of the neighborhood, there are also big differences in price. On Boulevard Winston Churchill, right next to the harbour and my favorite beach, we have average prices of 7,500 euros per square meter. Rue Bonaparte, the victim of his own success, can be very expensive, but you can also find flats at an average price of 5,500 euros per square meter. In fact, prices fall as you move away from Place Garibaldi. Rue François-Guizot, which goes directly to the port, also has a wide range of prices depending on how close you are to the sea, from 6,000 to 3,500 euros per square meter. Maybe the 3,500 with some heavy renovation to do. If you're looking in the streets close to the Riquier shopping center and SNCF train stations such as Rue Beaumont or Rue Arson, average prices can go down to 4,500 euros per square meter. And now it's tip time! When buying a house or a flat, check the urban projects in the area. Imagine that you have found the house of your dream, with a nice terrace offering a 360-degree views over the city. Well, you have noticed that there is a building opposite, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the view. And after all, the neighborhood is so quiet. But what happens if the co-ownership of the building decides to add 2 or 3 stories? Or if a nightclub moves downstairs? So be on the outlook. There are 4 important steps that you should take before buying a property. Consult the local urbanization plan to find out about planned development project. Look at the conditions of the building next door and do not hesitate to talk to your future neighbors and shopkeepers. 3. Check the co-owner's minutes to see what kind of shops are allowed to set up at the foot of your building. And 4. Hire us! We'll do that for you! I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a thumb up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned, for the next video we'll go in the hinterland to discover Saint-Cassien Lake and the wonderful little cities of Pays de Fayence. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye now!